Wow. This time a week ago we started the road to WrestleMania. So won't you stay and count the circles around my eyes? Green Day. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Hi creeps. Welcome to Slammers and Bobs. I lived last night. I literally lived the whole show. I think I only catnapped during Cena and Rusev. And let's face it, that wasn't the best match of the night. What did you think about last night? I personally thought that was the best WrestleMania in a very, very long time. I've literally spoken to no one this morning. I am literally fresh up from sleep about 2 hours ago. Yeah, literally I've been up for 2 hours. In that time I have gotten myself ready for this. I didn't think I was going to be able to do this today. I thought my brother was home, but apparently he's not. So we get to film this today. My voice is slightly scratchy. My glands have been swollen for the last 5 days. I have something going on in the back of my throat that I know nothing about. So let's start from the very top. I turned the network on at about 10:30 UK time, got it all ready, and then it kept stopping and starting and glitching and freezing, and I nearly punched my iPad and my iPod probably about 20 times each. I don't know why this kept happening. I'm assuming maybe the network servers were just really overrun because obviously so many people were on it, or it's just the fact that TalkTalk suck. Probably that one. Either way, it held up much better when adapting the iPod to the TV than it did when putting the laptop on, because with the laptop, for some reason, it lags. Yes, I have a pink laptop. She's called Lady Penelope. Thunderbirds talk coming during the week for all the geeks out there. Ha! Starting from the first match, we had the tag team titles 4-way. I have no idea yet how genuine the injury on one of the Uso twins was. I still don't know which twin is which, I'm sorry. They look so identical! I really don't know. I really just get entirely very, very confused with the pair of them. There was one Uso left against the New Day, who were in the most weird shade of, what was it? Yellow? Were they in yellow? It wasn't blue. I know it wasn't blue. Los Matadores, father and son. Father and son won. I'll discuss later on because there was actually space for this on the main card, but we'll get to that. Andre the Giant Battle Royal. I totally called what happened here. Just to toot my own horn here. When we saw who was left, I went, Mizdow's going to turn. The last video decided it was going to take 25 years to upload on the night of WrestleMania. I even took my computer to work, hoping to put it in with our store Wi-Fi, just leave it going. But nah, it didn't want to work. So consequently, it only came out an hour before WrestleMania. I kind of feel happy for the Big Show, because they kept saying he's never ever won a Battle Royal in his entire time, so meh, why not? He deserves an accolade. He's been there, he's in the over 40s club, he's done like 20 years in the company. I really wasn't that bothered by who won that anyway. It's just a good crowd starter, a Battle Royal, as I touched on in the last video. Starting the main card, we began with the ladder match, which added to the excitement of the show. It was a brilliant start match. When you think about the logistic of having that there, the crowd's going to be, oh, and we had so many of those moments. The one that definitely sticks out in my mind, Dean Ambrose going through that ladder. Insane! And Wade Barrett, when he did the double suplex off, that was brilliant too. So many amazing spots in that. It's just that Dean Ambrose one sticks in my mind. I think he cut his ear. Dean Ambrose really isn't big on social media, so it's really hard to know what's going on with the ear. Nothing's really come about in the last few hours since I went to bed at about 4:30 in the morning. Daniel Bryan winning, yes, very obvious. We knew it was coming. It was meant to please the crowd. And why shouldn't he have the belt? Not the World Heavyweight Championship, but it's the next one down. I'm quite happy for him to win, although I'd be lying if I said I really wasn't hoping it was going to be Dean Ambrose. And unfortunately, I need a Wade Barrett t-shirt because us Brits got to stick together. Oh, Ziggler. You had the last 6 days to redo your hair and you just still didn't bother doing your roots. WrestleMania is like the most important show on the card and you still led those horrible dark roots and copped out by getting hair to French plait your hair. Should have re-dyed it. Initially, I kind of wondered why you'd have Orton and Rollins second. It wasn't a bad match, I just still wish it had some kind of stipulation. Then again, coming out of the ladder match and into that, maybe it would have been too much of the same thing. Orton won. I had to think about that then. I really had to think about that. Orton won. He was in red. So we had Blue Tista last year. Does this mean we get Randy Redton this year? Up to you. That end spot in that match. How far did Seth Rollins climb? Out off of Randy Orton's neck. He was like, oh, RKO out of nowhere. Loved that spot. It was a good end to the match. It was an okay match. It wasn't the best wrestling match out there, but it's kind of a filler in between the ladder match and then Sting versus Triple H, which was next, and which was epically amazing. I kind of didn't feel the Terminator start for Triple H was right. However, I'd be lying if when them statues didn't come up, though, of the naked Terminators, I'll call them naked Terminators, that I didn't sit there and go, damn, I want one of those robots in my room. That would have been brilliant if you'd have woken up during the night, put it at the top of the stairs, and you just suddenly see this big metal structure standing there, and you, ah! I do wonder how heavy that thing was that Triple H came in, because it was like standing there like that going, oh my god, this is heavier than like 200 pounds of dumbbells. The Sting entrance I really enjoyed. I had to look really closely at all the people with the drums and the instruments and go, they're wearing masks or are they face painted? They're face painted. Damn, I wish I painted my face too. I think it was more the revival of the Monday Night Raw that we enjoyed, because we had DX come down, we had X-Pac, Billy Gunn in the most luminous green shoes I've ever seen in my blooming life, give Ross Noble a run for his money. I think Ross Noble's going to want to buy them for his next tour. And Road Dogg, although I still get really confused about him having the plaits, and eventually Shawn Michaels. And then who should come down but the NWO, Hogan, Nash and Scott Hall. Sorry to think about that. It was very late last night. I've had a very long week. Do excuse my mind for certain little lapses. We all started joking, don't tear a quad, Kev. And at one point he actually went down and grabbed his knee and I went, he's torn his quad, but he hadn't. It was all okay. I think it was more the excitement of having that on either side of Triple H and Sting that was more the attraction rather than the actual wrestling match. Of course, Vince had to have his shining moment. There was no way Sting was going to win when you think about it. There's no way he's going to let WCW beat WWE. Although the end bit where they shook hands, I kind of like that. There's been rumours going around this week that Sting said this is going to be his last thing he's going to do, and then maybe he's going to bow out of wrestling altogether. Of course, we want to see the dream match, okay? We want to see Sting versus Undertaker. There was a moment where Michael Cole said, this is the match we never thought we'd see. Now, with regards to it being WCW versus WWF/E, yes, but the match we all want to see is Sting versus The Undertaker, Cole, so get your facts right, mate. It was definitely just a massive reunion party from Monday Night Wars. Maybe Orton and Rollins kind of slowed the crowd down a little bit, but then you add that, so it's like, ladder match, yeah, oh, Orton Rollins, yay, Monday Night Wars. And then you came on to, unfortunately, who the hell are Kid Ink and Skylar Grey? Oh, and who was the guy who sung America the Beautiful, to which I was actually singing God Save the Queen? English people are in WrestleMania. God Save the Queen deserves to be played too. All I will say to the British people who are watching this, she looked like a tinfoil chav, okay? The shoes, the outfit, that bloody hat. It was like a chav dressed in tinfoil. Enough said. Didn't interest me whatsoever. Would have rather had Saliva or some kind of rock band playing. Or Limp Bizkit singing My Way from WrestleMania 17, you know, just to throw that out there for everyone. And of course next we had Paige and AJ Lee versus the Bella. And I was happy as hell that they didn't win! Yes! Ah! Grace of God, hallelujah moment sang, birds sang because they didn't win! That makes he thinks he happy, girl. Maybe this is a good luck t-shirt. Although I will say I ordered the one that AJ was wearing and they've sent me a youth men's and WWE URL shop. You are ignoring me, you rude people. I have been on Twitter, I have been on the email, and they're just ignoring me. And I can't have a t-shirt that essentially looks like a rectangle on me, okay? It was an okay match. Bella's had no reaction, AJ and Paige had all the reaction. I did see Britt go and hug her mum, Soraya, in the audience. I know she was front row. I know her dad was watching because I'd seen Sky Sports News before, so I knew all that stuff. I'm not just being a crazy stalker. I enjoyed it purely for AJ and Paige and the fact that you could see it meant more to them. With regards to the announcer saying, you know, that the Bella twins are doing Total Divas and they're walking red carpets and AJ and Paige are saying we can do this too. Also to Renee Young, who said that the Bella twins haven't earned anything they've got. She hit the nail on the head there. Well done, woman. That shows that you are a fan. They haven't earned anything they've got. They don't deserve to be in the WWE. And if you are a Bella Twin fan, you need to really revisit WrestleMania's past and look at what women's wrestling actually is, because they can't do it. They do not deserve to be there. If you want to see women's wrestling, Go back to WrestleMania 2 and see McIntyre versus Moolah, because that was freaking awesome, okay? That is women's wrestling. What them two do, nah. I hope they're going to be leaving this week. That may happen tonight. If they drop the title, it might be, we quit, and then I'll go, yay, and rejoice. I need to address the SmackDown segment because apparently one of the Bellas turned around to AJ and said, Brock Lesnar has worked more dates than you on SmackDown. I didn't really see SmackDown. So let me get this straight. AJ goes off, has some well-deserved time off this time last year. And, you know, she'd worked really bloody hard, done every day under the sun. She'd been the workhorse for the women's division. Just after Royal Rumble, just before Christmas, I forget when she went off, she's off nursing a neck injury. Now, that gets her heat. So it's not okay for her to go off and have deserved time off and nurse injuries, but it's alright for Brie Bella to take time off last year and nurse Daniel Bryan. Inconsistency much? Gotta mention the Hall of Fame, probably the first live Hall of Fame I've ever watched, and I loved every second. Alundra Blaze, and I'm saying it right, Alundra, not Audrana, Alundra Blaze. Her speech was definitely the standout of the night. I smiled throughout the whole thing. It was an amazing... She even did the segment with a bin where she pulls out the women's title but then throws out the bra and panties. I was like, yes, you get in. We can't go without mentioning Connor. I'm going to just show you a clip of what happened when I was watching Connor being inducted.
My wrestling name is Connor the Crusher. Stop the race.
And then his dad told me that he didn't have very long to live.
See, that's more like it. You shouldn't be chanting for me, you should be chanting for him.
Jackson has just one thing he would like to say to his brother.
I was you, Connor.
Yes, I was in pieces. Total pieces, crumbled to a little disintegrated pile of dust upon the floor. Oh, so emotional, so emotional. Dana Warrior, you are one heck of an awesome woman. I have a woman crush on you right now. I think you are amazing. Mr. Connor, I have so much respect for you. You had the hardest job that night out of every single person who was going in the Hall of Fame. Not only did you have to talk about your son's memory and the fact that that must still be very painful for you, probably never in your life did you think that you'd be standing before something like 20, 30, 40,000 people giving a speech. I thought your speech was awesome, and bringing out your son at the end in Connor's memory, so beautiful, so beautiful. I have so much respect for Connor, for what he did for the industry, because he did do something for the industry. He reminded us that we were fans and that it's not all about the politics, and he had a massive impact, and that needs to be remembered. And he took his rightful place in that Hall of Fame. You should be totally proud of him, memory, in body, in soul, in spirit, and the fact that he is always with you. To everyone else in that Hall of Fame, totally good class this year, great show, but I think Connor and Alundra were definitely the two standouts this year for me. Touched on this, but Rusev and Cena, I had little care for this match. Yes, Cena won. Lana came back, got knocked off, hurt her ankle apparently. She had a cream cake on her head. Wasn't that much of a match for the UK. Really wasn't. As I said, it had little effect on me. Even the crowd still booed Cena, and I thought just for the USA alone, he was going to get cheered, but he didn't. So it just goes to prove that the crowd don't like Cena, even if he's on their side. I did love the segment with Triple H and Stephanie coming out and revealing a figure that everyone in our chat room said was probably rubbish. I loved it for Ronda Rousey. She would wipe the floor with Stephanie easily. So Stephanie, watch your back, woman. You may have all the power in the world, but she has all the power in the world, so be very careful. Although I will say, in the time that The Rock and Rousey and Triple H and Stephanie were in that ring, we could have had the tag team title match there, not a 15-20 minute promo. Bray versus Undertaker. It was curious to me how Taker came out dressed, because I have not seen him dressed like that, from the hat to the coat to the trousers to the shoes, since about 03-04 when he was still in the biker gimmick. Taker as well has put on more weight, and he does look better for it. Still looks quite aged in the face, and if you compare him to Sting, who's about 10 years or so, just under 10 years, or 10 years exactly his senior, Sting looks younger than him. He's let his hair grow back a bit. I do feel like that helps. I feel like the mohawk and the skinhead kind of style did nothing for him at all. Giving fashion sense here to a man in his 40s, but you know, sorry. I loved Bray's entrance being followed down with all those scarecrows. They were just awesome. I was just in love with them. Their movements were so, do you know what I mean? So well thought out and so well planned, and it was really cool to watch. I like the scarecrows. It's clowns I'm scared of, not scarecrows. I don't like clowns. I kind of felt in a way like it should have been Taker coming out all powerful after last year's loss and just pummeling the hell out of Bray Wyatt. And that happened for a few minutes, and then he started to look weak. And that kind of concerned me. And I feel like I'm going to contradict what I said last video. Maybe he is going too far. Maybe he just needs to stop. It wasn't my favourite match on the card. I did feel like Taker came out the worst from it, even though he won. And it was kind of forgettable for me. And it was a shame because I really had high hopes for it. But at least we got to see Undertaker, and I still want him to come out and go over him on the bike. Last match, Lesnar versus Reigns. Brock Lesnar just annihilated Roman Reigns for quite a long time in this match, it's fair to say. And I felt like it made Roman Reigns look incredibly weak. I felt like it made him look like he wasn't ready, like he was too young, like he had no strength. And I thought they were building him up a little bit more. I was kind of disappointed with that start of it. How many F5s and German suplexes did Roman Reigns take? A lot. A hell of a lot. And he still kept getting back up. So I have to give him full credit for that tenacity. Both of them had blood from somewhere. And I was really surprised that they didn't immediately get Brock out and clear up that blood. Maybe because it was TV 14, they were letting it go. But who called it in the last video? How many of you called it? I kind of got the method of it a little bit wrong, but yes. There we were sitting there. Roman Reigns has done some kind of move, and it was 4:15 at this point, so please don't hold it against me that I can't remember every detail. And suddenly you hear Seth Rollins' music, and I sit there and go, oh, it's happening. It's happening. And down he comes and curb stomped someone. He curb stomped Brock Lesnar. Kicked Brock Lesnar out of the ring eventually and pinned Roman Reigns. And Rollins is the new heavyweight champion. And rejoice, IWC, because Roman Reigns didn't win and you can all shut up. I wouldn't have minded who won that. I think it was the crowning moments of Seth Rollins. It was coming. I think we all knew it's coming. The minute Orton won the match, we all kind of went, Rollins is coming down later. I'm not going to sit here and do jumps about it because I think I'm still ingesting everything from last night, and I'm also trying to get over my sheer exhaustion. All in all, I would say it's the best WrestleMania we've seen for a very, very long time. I think every available title necessary was put on the line. Maybe the Divas title could have been done, but then we would have had to have another Bella Twin match, and I didn't want to see that. Thank you so much for coming and having WrestleMania week with me. This is now the final video of it, and after Raw tonight, or after I've seen Raw yesterday when this comes out, I'm going to bed. I've had a good week. I met a couple of new likes on here. Thanks for coming. And do come and check us out on BWR Radio. It has been a pleasure doing this. Bye everyone.